been a strange old few days, I guess, for everyone across the country, but football as well. How's it been here at Middlesbrough?
Yeah, understandable, and obviously that'll be reflected in terms of the statements put out by the club and what they do at the home game on Tuesday night. But I totally get it, that what happened over the weekend, and there's bigger things in life and bigger things regarding, just playing a game of football on a Saturday afternoon. I know it obviously means an awful lot to us, but I think the country have shown, and very respectable in the way they've shown it, the importance of how they've treated this situation. And from a football point of view, yes, and the individual clubs and the wider football world, definitely.
What have you done with the players? Did you give them some time off, or have you...
No. We have a 2-day lead up, so we worked Friday really hard and intensely, and they had Saturday off and came in Sunday, Monday, in today, obviously in preparation for the game on Tuesday. So nothing changes. We were obviously off the back of a great result. Not, as I said in the night, not one of the best performances of the season. I suppose that just shows you the strange world of football, that sometimes your play doesn't always get you what you want and out of the game, and the reward for some really good performances that we've not got, and maybe one of our lesser performances got us a big three points on the night. But it was a great night for the football club. 31,000 of our supporters on a Monday night live on Sky, and the situation that, from an economic point of view that everybody's dealing with at the moment, to have 31,000 of our supporters in that night and get the result that we had, hopefully was good for them. I think sometimes there's better results for the team, and then there's some better results for supporters, and that was a definitely night for them.
It's amazing how you look at the schedule, and I suppose probably for weeks now you're probably thinking, we need a break. You get that win under your belt, and I guess you wanted to just go again. And it's amazing the way things...
Yeah, that's how it is. So we're all in the same situation. So it's not as if we've had a game called off and everybody else has played, and we're playing catch up. Obviously, that it's going to be a tight schedule with the World Cup being jammed in there as it has done, and not so many free weeks. But always sort of been used to it really in the Championship in terms of midweek games and how football clubs get through 3-game weeks really. So it's in a way there's some positives for us, because we've brought in boys late on in the window, Rodrigo Muniz, Clark, Mowat, and are playing catch up a little bit in terms of their conditioning. So gives them time to have a breather, and us to work with them as well. And as well, Keith, it's a big turnaround of players as well. So we've tried to use that period on the grass to work on bits and pieces that will hopefully make us better in the long run.
I wonder, in your professional career, if you've had any dealings with the Queen before?
Not personally, no. Nothing. No. Actually, I have. Yeah, I was a player at Bradford City the day that the Queen opened the new stand at Bradford City. That was my first day as a Bradford City player. Me and a boy called Robbie Blake, who signed from Darlington. He signed on transfer deadline day, so yeah, it was just after March. So yeah, I was. So obviously got to meet her then when she came up the road and opened a fabulous big stand at Bradford City.
It's amazing. She seems to have touched so many people across the country. I've just listened to the radio on the way down just now, and we're talking about opening sporting stadiums and training grounds and everything. So I suppose we can understand why there's been such an outpouring over the last few.
Oh, as I said at the start of the interview, Keith, completely understand, and yeah, definitely from a sporting point of view, the amount of organisations that she was involved in and was patron of, an incredible wide range of sports, and I think she understood and got it how much sport is an integral part of everybody's life in this country.
And just looking at the next few fixtures now, obviously you've got a couple before the international break. You can go into that, if you get a couple of wins, you can really go into that with with a bit of spring in your step?
Yeah, we've tried to build consistency all the way through. We've just not managed to get the results that I've said all along. Our performances, I believe, have deserved. Really, I think all the teams that we have played, I should imagine, have come away with the same view of that was a really tough game and tight games that we've not come out the right side of, which is. I'm always, Keith, I'm always caught in between on that one, because we always understand we want to play as well as we possibly can, but we're in the results business, and obviously the results have not matched the performances. I mean, as I said, the strange part of football is that, well, arguably, from my point of view, our not so good performance on Monday night has resulted in a win. But what I will say is I thought the players showed different characteristics to the game now, when, especially second half, where we didn't get control of the game as much as we would have liked to. We did what we needed to do to get a big result. So a balance. If you don't play as well, can you get that result? And when you do play well, you must win. And we're looking to play well on Tuesday night, and if we do play well, then I think we give ourselves a great chance of getting a result.
Last one from me, your new lad, the newest of the additions after the transfer window closed, Massimo, how's he?
Yeah, he's good. I think it's really refreshing. I've said it before, I've had a couple of players at my previous clubs that come in and want to be part of it, know where's my contract, where do I sign, he understood the situation. It was a disappointing end to the window as far as I was concerned and the club was concerned, because we didn't really feel that department, and I think a few of the situations, and I think it happened at a few of the other clubs. I know it definitely happened at West Brom, where not really our fault really. We just, circumstances were that we didn't get the players in that we wanted. So the next sort of objective was look at that free transfer list, and we looked. And Mass came in. He did a week with us. We wanted to look from a conditioning point of view how he was, from a CV point of view and a player point of view. He's played the majority of his football in the Championship at a technical club in QPR, so we knew he could play. We've been up against him before, and I've known a few of his managers as well. So, him coming into the group certainly makes us stronger, and I think that's what it's all about. We're trying to put a bit of depth into the team and into the group, and we certainly didn't have that depth in that midfield department. So bringing Mass in is it makes us that little bit stronger, and delighted to be working with him.
How frustrating was it not to play when the likes of rugby and cricket went ahead?
I'm not getting involved in that. Everybody makes their own decisions. I completely understood it. So personally, yeah, from me, I think it was the correct decision, and everybody will have their own individual opinion on it. And I think we did the right thing from a footballing point of view. One game, one afternoon that we can squeeze in, and we can work around, and the football authorities will do that.
And Cardiff, look at the league table, they're down the bottom, but it's so tight, isn't it? 3 points can make them.
Yeah, listen, we're 8 games in, and I think they'll possibly be looking at us and maybe looking at our performances and saying, well, not so sure that's a true reflection of what's happened so far this season. And I will possibly be saying that regarding Cardiff. It's changed style completely from a style that was played last year. I would say possibly the most changes that a team has made this summer window. I think we've tried to make 12 changes. I think they've done as many as that. So at times, getting those results to match those performances is possibly the hardest thing when you're bringing new players into a group. And I think maybe they'll feel the same, and they'll be looking to kickstart and start climbing with decent performances and good results.
Injury-wise, Dara was probably the one. Where's he at in terms of, have you had any idea of how long you might be talking, or is he back? Where's he at?
No, he's not back. So I'm a terrible liar, aren't I?
Yeah, you're not a good one.
Dear me.
Is it a bad one?
No, it'll be okay for the Coventry game. Okay. So it rules out this week. So we're more than likely that both Chuba and Dara are going to be back for the Coventry game, which is a big boost for us. Getting everybody back fit. I've got to say, I thought Dale was really good. So Zach will be available for Tuesday/Saturday as well. We're hoping. I think what you've seen is what we're trying to construct is a squad full of depth, full of competition, and performance levels don't drop and results don't drop because of one or two players coming out. And certainly I think Liam has impressed everybody with his performance. Such a big game for Robbo on Monday night, and he was really good. I'm not so sure he had unbelievable work to do and produced anything that really kept us in the game, but what he did was really tidy and confident and composed. So that was good for him. And obviously Dale's been here quite a few years, and how highly rated he is around these parts. So for him to step in, and tough player he's up against. Sims, he's athletic, decent, runs the channels. So that wasn't the easiest night for him to come straight in and obviously produce that type of performance. So delighted about that. So, but to get Tuba back and Dara will be and Zach will be good, and it just gives us that, like I said, that bit more depth and security that if we do injuries, suspensions, loss of form, we can flip it around.
When you've touched on the keepers there, I mean, obviously, there is a decision to make there, and it's interesting because they've obviously come from, one's kind of come down from the Premier League, one's come up from the lower leagues, but they're also, is it fair to say, their strengths may be a little bit different? I mean, Zach's, pretty all action, comes for everything, looks very comfortable with his feet, sweeper keeper kind of.
And Robbo it's not all action, he's not good with his feet, and that, yeah.
I'm not saying that, but
slightly different.
Yeah, I don't think there's two players that are absolutely identical, the same, are they at all? So I think one of the things is that keeping the ball out the back of the net, so making some big saves, and yeah, of course I think you've seen how we want to play, and if we can build from the back, it's important that we try and build from the back, and distribution by goalkeepers is. And Zach don't play for Man City without being good with his feet, and he don't play for Man City without being good. I read a couple of things at the start about about Zach, and you're looking at him going, he's just signed a 4-year deal at Man City, and he's on the bench for the Champions League, semi-final, a trophy that is so coveted by that football club, and so. Do they understand that if anything happened to the goalkeeper in the warm-up, that they weren't comfortable in putting Zach in? And you see the strength of their bench as well. So he's incredibly highly rated at arguably one of the best football clubs in Europe. So and they're not going to give 4-year deals out just because they like the boy. So he's highly rated, and it was a big signing for us. But he, as I said, he unfortunately just tweaked his knee, and Robbo's come in, worked extremely hard, and come from a different place, of course, yeah. But I think that's a smart signing by us as well on a free transfer. So part of that department that needed to be sorted out, in my opinion. And with Alan Fetty's coming in from Manchester United, we're really comfortable there now. And delighted to have both the boys in and Alan in as well, and it's a lot stronger than what it was.
And you touched on Luongo there. I mean, obviously the fact that you were able to get him through the door pretty quickly, to have a look at him, suss him out and everything, have that week, and then give him the contract. I mean, I guess that's proof of what every football club has to do. That you have a plan A, you have a plan B, you have a plan C. You go all the way. Any event.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think Massey's precious about the situation that there was other targets that we went for. It was talked about the boy at Brentford. Unfortunately, there's no secret in that. One of their boys gets injured, and that knocks that on the head. And there was another couple as well. So, but Massey's not precious about that. He had a couple of options as well for himself. And then as soon as this one come up, it was up the motorway as quick as he possibly could, and we had a quick peek at him from a conditioning point of view. I think from the boys' point of view, it was an important summer for him, because if he's out of contract, what does he do? Does he just go and eat and drink what he wants and possibly his career's over, or do you understand the importance of it, that he's not working? He's basically not working. And what do I need to do to get back in work? And
he's 29, isn't he? He's not like,
I spoke to I spoke to Darren Moore so I know Darren at Sheffield Wednesday, and so obviously being from that part of the world, so I knew what he was doing. And his sort of performances for Sheffield Wednesday, and I've known from his QPR days, very talented individual, played 30, 40 games for his country as well, and at 29, sometimes have to have that mix as well, Scott. That it's not, we're not just going young. We know people, we know players that know the way around the pitch, and that position definitely needed to be strengthened right the way through. And window shuts, we move to another market. He was available, comes in, ticks a box, and then we look forward to working with him in the next up and coming months.
And just the last one, I know, clearly nobody would have wanted it to pan out the way that it has, but just the way circumstances have worked, you've ended up with 3 home games in a row, which is quite unusual really at any stage of the season. So, it is an opportunity to really, at home.
I've got to say that you even take it back to last year, it was something that I said straight away, that we need to prioritise and cement and use that advantage that we definitely have. I think there was a couple of disappointing afternoons. I think the Huddersfield afternoon was a real disappointing one, and the Hull City one was a real disappointing one. No, after that, even the Fulham one, I thought we were outstanding on the night against a team that absolutely romped it. Now scratching my head in terms of how we didn't draw it, let alone win it. So 2 out the plenty of games, and this year, we've played particularly well. Obviously, get that first win was crucial to back it up. Winning a tight, ferocious local derby, and just that, from my point of view, walking around the ground at the end, as I said, 31 of our 1,000 of our supporters in that ground on a Monday night live on Sky. I just think speaks volumes in terms of what they feel about the football club, and I think as well, let's put it right, what they maybe think about this group of players as well, because it's all to see that the results have not been the ones that we've wanted, and quite easily could have been a drop off and a bit of a disillusion, sort of attitude towards this group. But I've got to say, I think the supporters have been with us all the way, and it was an incredible night in terms of we've not played great and didn't have control of the football and didn't have control of the match on that Monday night, but stayed with us all the way and really pushed us over the line. So really important that the home form is rock solid, and it gives us a platform to have a decent season.
When you talk about that, Chris, obviously we talk about the kind of performances being where they have been, but just little intricate details letting the team down. I mean, do you think a factor of that is so many new players kind of coming in and needing to get used to things?
Yeah, it's got to. I mean, in a way, I'm surprised how well they took on board, because it's not like new players have come in at the start of pre-season. We've just been talking about it. Outfield players, I think it was only Ryan Giles and Darragh Lennon and went on the trip to Portugal, and then sort of they've sort of Tuba was involved in the Marseille game. I think the numbers were obviously not where we'd wanted them to be, and then off the back of that, Alex Mowatt coming in. Tommy Smith had obviously been with us all pre-season, so he knew how we worked. And then the additions of the Clarks, the Mowatts, the Rodrigos, Force, Hoppy coming in, and maybe them two of a younger age as well that might need a little bit more work as well. I think from Matt Clark's point of view, he gets it straight away, or tries to get it straight away from Alex's point of view. But especially the younger ones, it might take a little bit of time. So in a way, I've been quite happy in terms of the performances have been pretty consistent in those performances. As we've talked about, there's been periods where I've not been happy first 20 minutes of QPR, period first half against Reading, but for the generally on the whole, like the Stoke City performance and the other performances, Sheffield United won, and they've been pretty good for a new group of players. And it's not, I won't be making this amount of changes. It's not going to be that sort of, this sort of wrecking ball attitude to it all every window and every summer window. We want to make as less and less changes as we possibly can. So we just bring in sort of 2 or 3 players in, which would usually mean that we've had a settled group for a while. So the amount of changes that we've brought in have been huge, and I think at times we maybe would have expected a little bit more inconsistency with the play.
And similarly, we've mentioned Cardiff made a lot of changes this summer as well, and as you said, a big change in style as well. So probably going through a similar period themselves.
Absolutely spot on. Yeah, you've nailed it. A different way of playing from a more direct play to a build. So and then you have that, you change over players and change over of cultures and how you play. So, but they've got some talented players as well, especially at the top of the pitch. The way they play is a completely different way of playing. But we're the same as them. We're still after good performances and good results.
One thing we've seen change here this season, more often than not, is this Riley McGree sitting behind the striker. I mean, is that something that you kind of you want to use more often? Would you like to go back to 2 up top? Is it?
Well, it's 2 up top. It's not. It's not him. It's a 10 and a 9. So we've always played with a 10 and a 9. So he's a slightly different. Has slightly different characteristics to maybe a tuber, but you want different ways of playing. I think more of maybe where we've been with centre forwards not coming in, that Riley's played more of a 10 pre-season, but can play 8 as well, because obviously he played that last year. But he's comfortable playing a 10, and we've been on about him scoring more. Because I believe he should, and he's got in some decent positions. But I thought his performance was good the other night, and then obviously getting a couple in the last couple of games will boost his confidence. And whether he has to play that, change the systems and change the way we play. I don't think there's much difference in how we build from the back and how we've played. It's just that his characteristics are obviously a little bit different to maybe what a Tubers is, or a Marcus Force is, or a Duncan's is.
Just going back to the goalkeeper situation as well, Chris, as you were talking about. I mean, obviously when Zach does come back into the fold, Liam has done well. Is kind of Liam maybe giving you a bit more of a decision than you maybe expected you would have had at this?
I'm just delighted. We I don't look at it as personalities. I look at it to pick that best team and best side to get a result. And obviously there's always going to be, in the back of that, if Liam played for the next 10 games and he made a mistake in the 11th game, does he come out the team straight away, or is he afforded a little bit of patience because of what he's done after 10 games? There's different ways of managing, but I think we're all delighted because he's such a good kid as well, and he's such a lovely. You've met him. He's he walks around this place with his eyes wide open every day, and he's worked hard to get into this situation, and he's certainly one that he's delighted to be here. Understands what a good move it is for him and what a great opportunity is for him, and will work as hard as anybody to improve. and he wants to be number one here. So, but he understood at the start that, you know, with no disrespect, we weren't bringing Zach here, and Zach wasn't coming to sit on the bench. But these things happen, and we're delighted that Robbo's put in some really good, strong performances. So it gives him confidence when Zach comes back in, or if he comes back in, or when it comes back in, then everybody resets and goes again. But he's been good, and that's what I'm looking for. Looking for that depth and looking for that competition for places that we're all after.
And just finally from me, obviously we've talked about Luongo and the fact he's come into the club, and you know, somebody, as you say, you've known a while from his QPR days, etc. I mean, he kind of almost changed his roles a little, didn't he? He was more box to box QPR, then more holding at Sheffield Wednesday, which I guess isn't a bad thing because they're two positions where you.
Yeah, definitely. He's got the capabilities athletically to play as an 8 and to play as a 6. So he's got experience. He was at a technical football club in QPR, where, you know, you saw through that period they were always very play. It wasn't, you know, back to front second balls, and obviously you look at Massey's not a back to front second ball player, but he puts his foot in, works extremely hard, and can play. He's just a generally, you know, really good midfield player, and he obviously adds to what is quite light at the moment. So it's good that we have that safety, not safety net, because, you know, he's not a fullback. We want him to push as much as we want everybody else to push, and if he gets in, he won't let anybody down, and he'll want to stay in there and keep his place, which has got to be the attitude of every player at this football club.